Hello, this is just going to be an addition to my previous segment on SolidWorks and 3D modeling. Today I'm just going to start with the very basics. Something we've never done before is sketching. Every 3D part has to go from a 2D model, 2D sketch, you could call it, they call it sketching in SolidWorks, 2D drawing, to a model by some means. So if you're using SolidWorks, you'll get this window when you first open it. So click on File, this is File, New. Now we want to create parts. Drawings and assemblies are later. So click New Part. Sometimes it can take a second. Okay, now in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, there's a bunch of tabs. You can add and get rid of them, but for this part you'll just be using the Sketch tab right here, and you can play around with some of the features in here. I like to change, this is the appearance, I like to change the wallpaper just so it background so I get some color. Now just go ahead and click Sketch. Now here's the basis of 3D modeling. All comes in with these three planes. You have the front, the top, and the right plane. Just for this sketch, it doesn't matter which one you sketch on. I'll just go with the top plane. And from here you just have basic sketching tools, and they're all up here. You have a line in similar softwares, Rhinoceros or AutoCAD. It'd be called a polyline, and SolidWorks will snap at 90 degrees. If you're thinking polar coordinate, it'll snap in all four directions. So that makes it easy to sketch. And something I've noticed that makes this software a hindrance for most people is when you make a new line and you start it, you have to click and hold and drag and let go if you want to end the line segment there. Because if you click like this and let go and click again to end it, you'll continue the line. And then you have to either start over or just hit escape to cancel the line. That's something that most people get caught up on. Now, I also find center lines work just like a line. I use them for measurements. So if I was going to go, let's say I'm just going to build a part, it doesn't matter what it is, and I want it to be 4 inches long. I just create a line, make it any distance I want, and then go into the parameters of the line and set it to 4. Now there's a lot you can change. You can add relations to it, there's options and angle, get in all of that later. So there's your line. But it's only a center line, so you can't turn it into an entity. You'd need a line like this if you wanted to make something out of it. They need to be actual lines. So let's just make a triangle for the first sketch on here. Doesn't matter. Now that we have half our triangle, there's a couple cool sketch tools that are good to know about. Instead of taking and measuring this, because I didn't measure it, so it's some random number, instead of resetting the measurement on that and then mimicking it, you can mirror. So mirror entities, these lines are entities. So you just select what lines you want. Now mirror about, this is kind of like where the face of the mirror would be. So if you do this line, you can see it will mirror it directly across. So mirror about is the face you're mirroring from. And there's our triangle. Now, using the center click, if you click and hold the scroll wheel, you can view it from 3D, as the camera will move around like this. For 2D sketching, it's a hindrance because sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense. When you see a 2D part from, for example, like an isometric kind of viewpoint, it doesn't look how it should. So you can use these viewpoints to snap around the planes to get it set exactly where you want. Now, there's a couple of cool things that are other tools. If we were to make a line here, trim entities is kind of cool. It works like this. Basically, it recognizes that this line is intersecting this line. So if I wanted to end this line here, so it's just on this side of the center line, trim entities is very smart. So I don't have to select a cutting edge or anything. As long as I select power trim, you just drag it and it knows. It can get more complex than that, but basically power trim is used when you want to cut a line in half. All you have to do is sketch something that will allow it to be cut. So I won't go over convert entities. Offset entities is kind of cool. If you click it and then you set a distance, then you select your entities, it will offset them by whatever distance. And you can hit reverse and it will put them inside, which is nice for working around sketches with a lot of pieces. If you wanted to move them out and didn't want to do all the measuring, it does it all for you. Another good one to know is, let's say I wanted a circle right here, and I wanted the circle to be in a pattern from a certain point. There's sketch linear pattern and sketch circular pattern. I'm going to go with a circular pattern. I'm going to say I want this point to be the center of our pattern. And then the entities, you select your entities here, are there. Now it will define a path. You can tell how many you want on the path, how few you want on the path, just with a number. I'm going to go with 6. And you can do an angle, and you can set a couple other things in here. You can set the distance apart. There's a couple cool options for that. Now that's how you'd create a pattern. This is turning out quite interesting, actually. And then a linear sketch pattern works the same way. It'll pattern something, but it will do it linear. So you can select an axis, which on our front plane, the line that dictates the top plane would be our x-axis, which is what it default selects. But I'm going to go ahead and select that line. And it should be able to, no, it won't. Actually, I'm not going to go into a linear pattern in this one. You can play with it, I guess. It takes some time to figure out. You have to, I'll just go ahead and do it. You have to select an axis, and if you expand this little menu here, you can see front plane, right plane, top plane, and right plane. Now, each one of these is an axis. It's generally X, Y, Z. So if I select the right plane, hit enter. Oh, I hit shift, I'm sorry. Select the right plane. And why won't it do it? Yeah, see, that's why I didn't want to go into that one. Basically, it works the same way. It just mirrors things on an axis in a pattern that's linear. Now, how this all ties into 3D, it will be in the next video, but basically, we'll be using the features menu to make the 2D sketches 3D. And that's the conclusion for this video for sketching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. So thanks for watching.